Omkar Ajgekar and Fazal Sheikh to escort him to the dais. I request Mr. Omkar Ajgekar and Fazal Sheikh to present a floral bouquet and a token of appreciation to CA Yash Kuvar sir. Thank you, Omkar and Fazal. I request Sanjna to introduce CA Yash Kuvar sir.
CA Yash Kuwar, a practicing chartered accountant having offices in Pune and PCMC, has completed his diploma in Information Systems Audit and diploma in International Financial Reporting Standards. He has 7+ years of experience in audit, assurance, business management advisory, direct and indirect taxes. He was associated with a mid-sized firm in Pune and later started his own practice in November 2020. He has taken sessions on financial reporting and accounting standards for PCMC branch ICI and is also actively involved in teaching direct tax. He started his practice with the motive to provide value addition to the clients in all sectors of industry through business management advisory services and to become a business solution provider. I welcome you, sir.
The papers to be presented today have been carefully selected to reflect the dynamic nature of our industry. Let's begin with the first paper presentation by Ms. Aditi Gunjal on e-assessment.
Requesting sir to kindly take the test.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're having fun. Good afternoon, respected members and all my fellow friends. I hope you are enjoying the session conducted by the very talented committee members. So, I, Aditi Gunjar, today will be presenting on e-assessment. Basically, e-assessment is a simple word of two terms. E-assessment, also called as electronic assessment or faceless scrutiny. तो बट वाई ई असेसमेंट असेसमेंट्स तो पहले भी होते थे देवर इन अ ट्रेडिशनल मेथड तो अभी इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली इंट्रोड्यूस करने की ज़रूरत क्या पड़ी तो व्हाट वी आर एमिंग इन ई असेसमेंट इज ट्रांसपेरेंसी एफिशिएंसी एंड स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन ऑफ प्रोसेस सबसे बिगेस्ट इशू जो था पहले ट्रांसपेरेंसी का अंडर द टेबल भी बहुत सारे असेसमेंट पहले सेटल होते थे स्टैंडर्ड नहीं था कोई प्रोसेस नाउ वट एवर द केस मे बी however big or small all the process for all the cases will be the same from start to end also with the introduction of new technologies such as AI machine learning automation human interference is almost zero now, and the process is standardized for everyone. अभी digitalization is not assessment के वक्त पहले digitalization नहीं था. Digitalization started from 2013, जहाँ पे e-filing was made compulsory for all the assessees who have their income above 5 lakhs. उसके बाद e-proceedings में compulsory हो गया digitalization. When we check our income tax portal, e-proceedings में आप देखते होगे. I hope you all are articles and have minimum knowledge about your income tax portal or how returns are filed. If you check your e-proceedings tab, वहाँ पे आपको दिखते हैं कि आपको कौन से सेक्शन के अंडर नोटिस रिसीव हुए हैं. तो तभी in 2018 e-proceedings were also made compulsory and it was digitalized. Similarly अभी assessments भी digitalize हुए हैं. अभी digitalization की जर्नी तो हमने समझ ली, but now let's move forward to assessments. Assessments में different types होते हैं, and I'll help you today with a few examples. I hope you have all started your articleship or you're about to start your articleship. And आपको आपका senior कुछ तो workings बताते होंगे. Suppose आपको एक senior ने एक working बनाने को बोली है, and he has given you 1 hour to complete your working. आप जाते हो, आप पूरा आपका knowledge gather कर लेते हो, working बना लेते हो, फिर उसके बाद in fact आप 45 minutes में complete कर लेते हो, and you have the remaining 15 minutes. Any wise person, what will they do? If you have additional 15 minutes, you'll go through your working, you'll self-assess the working that you have done. Similarly, self-assessment में क्या करते हैं? Whatever we first analyze and assess, what are the taxable heads of income that you are liable to report, and if there is any additional liability that you have to pay, you do it in self-assessment. फिर ठीक है, coming back to the example. Now you self-assessed your workings, you went to your senior. Your senior has already few data, which he knows that few numbers of words should be existing in your working. He just goes through your working, and then he finds out there are few mistakes that you have done, and which should not be there or which should have been there. फिर वो आपको intimation देता है कि नहीं, ये चीज़ें गलत हुई है. You go and redo your work. Similarly, in intimation assessment, the income tax department already has few base workings such as your audit tax reports, 26 years, and if you have claimed deductions for the disallowed expenses or any other expenses which were not supposed to be claimed, then income tax department gives you an intimation, please go and again file your updated returns or revised returns as per the due days which are applicable. Now, in scrutiny assessment, ठीक है, आप फिर से अभी coming back to the example, you go back, you redo your workings, then now you go back to your senior. Honestly, आपने गलती कर ली है तो senior ने आप में थोड़ा सा faith lose कर लिया है. तो वो क्या करेगा? अभी each and every word that you have done or amount you have presented, he'll ask for the supportings or evidence that you have presented. Suppose आपने sales का amount कहाँ से तो लाया है? He'll ask you what is the basis that you have reported the sales amount. So you can tell कि मैंने sales register से लिया है, invoices check किए हैं. These are all the supportings that you can show. Similarly, in income tax for scrutiny assessment, it can be a complete scrutiny or limited scrutiny. For example, if you have an income from other heads, suppose income on interest or dividends, if the income tax department asks you to prove if you have reported 10 lakh rupees, इनकम टैक्स को चाहिए कि आपको कैसे प्रूफ करोगे मुझे कि आपको सिर्फ 10 लाख ही मिले एंड नॉट ग्रेटर देन 10 लाख्स. सो हाउ विल यू रिपोर्ट? आप क्या करोगे? इंटरेस्ट स्टेटमेंट्स जो बैंक से लिए हैं वो दे सकते हो, लेजर कन्फर्मेशंस दे सकते हो, आप आपका 26 AS या फिर AIS में जो भी अमाउंट रिपोर्ट हुआ है दिखा सकते हो कि ये अमाउंट्स और मैंने जो अमाउंट्स रिपोर्ट किए हैं दोज आर मैचिंग एंड यू आर नॉट अंडरस्टेटिंग एनी ऑफ योर इनकम. सो बेसिकली स्क्रूटिनी असेसमेंट में ईच एंड एवरी अपने अमाउंट जो रिपोर्ट किए हैं इट हैज़ टू बी बैक्ड अप विद सम एविडेंस एंड आपको ऑफिसर को कन्विंस करना है कि देयर इज प्रॉपर डिस्क्लोजर ऑफ ऑल द इंफॉर्मेशन दैट आर प्रेजेंटेड. कमिंग टू नेक्स्ट असेसमेंट, बेस्ट जजमेंट असेसमेंट. इसमें होता क्या है कि व्हेन एन असेसी फेल्स टू फाइल हिज इनकम टैक्स रिपोर्ट, इनकम टैक्स एज पर सेक्शन 139, मतलब अपने जो भी रिटर्न्स हम फाइल करते हैं, नॉन ऑडिट हो या फिर ऑडिट हो, जो ड्यू डेट्स होते हैं, वी हैव फेल्ड टू फाइल आर रिटर्न्स एज पर दी सेट डेट्स, और इफ यू हैव फेल्ड टू कंप्लाई अंडर सेक्शन 142 सबसेक्शन 1, अभी उसमें क्या होता है, ऑफिसर आस्क यू फॉर एडिशनल एविडेंस, आपने जो भी रिटर्न फाइल किया होगा उसमें आपको एडिशनल डॉक्यूमेंट्स वो खुद से मांगता है, एंड यू हैव टू सबमिट इट टू देम. If you are failing on that part, or if you fail to comply under section 142 subsection 2A. Now this section says about special audits. Income tax department can ask you to conduct special audit where the chartered accountant is appointed by themselves itself. अभी इसमें भी आपका फेलियर हुआ तो बेसिकली यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है, इनकम टैक्स ऑफिसर डज नॉट हैव इनफ नॉलेज अबाउट इट and he does not have all the relevant information. So based on all the information he has, he makes the best judgment and he'll decide कि आगे final verdict क्या देना है. Last, income escaping assessment. Coming back to the example, अभी आपको तो 1 घंटे में वर्किंग बनाने को बोला था, but it's been 3 or 4 hours. आप मिसिंग हो, ऑफिस में कहा तो छुप के बैठे हो, एंड यू हैव नॉट रिपोर्टेड द वर्किंग टू योर सीनियर. सीनियर बाहर आके आपको ढूंढ ढूंढ के निकाल रहा है कि ये बंदा कहाँ है, कहाँ बैठा है, किधर छुप रहा है, मतलब क्या कर रहा है, वो रेड मार रहा है बेसिकली ऑफिस में. वही होता है इनकम एस्केपिंग असेसमेंट में. If the officer has sufficient reasons to believe that you're hiding your wealth, income, which has to be reported, he can pass a search and seizure demand. मतलब बेसिकली रेड वो परफॉर्म कर सकते हैं, और फिर आपको जितना टॉर्चर करके सब डेटा आपसे मंगवा के हिल मेक अ डिमांड नोटिस एंड ऑल. सो बेसिकली इनकम एस्केपिंग में ये होता है.
Aditi,
श्योर.
1 minute. I'm sorry to interrupt you all. We have the chief guest here. We'll be conducting this session in a while. A round of applause for our chief guest, Shri Chandrakant Dada Patil. Today, we are privileged to have among us a distinguished personality, a true leader, and a guiding light for the nation's progress. Let us begin with this session. I request CA Sachin Bansal sir to kindly give the welcome address.
I've already given the welcome address in the morning, and students have also listened to it, so I'll not take much of the time. I'd like to welcome on behalf of Pimpri-Chinchwad branch of WIRC of ICI, Dada Chandrakant Dada Patil, who is the Minister of Honorable Dada Patil sir, who is the Minister of Higher Technical Education, Textile and Parliamentary Affairs of the Government of Maharashtra. And I, on behalf of all the students and members, want to all be welcome. We give a round of applause to Dada sir. And we want a standing ovation for all of us. Welcome sir. Thank you very much.
Let us welcome our chief guest in a traditional way. Requesting CA Sachin Bansal sir to present a token of appreciation to Shri Chandrakant Dada Patil. Thank you, sir. I now request CA Akshay Bahiti sir to give a brief introduction.
धन्यवाद. कार्यक्रमाचे प्रमुख पाहुणे आदरणीय चंद्रकांतदादा पाटील. चंद्रकांतदादा पाटील यांच्याबद्दल बोलायचं दादांबद्दल तर अ मॅन हू नीड्स नो इंट्रोडक्शन. कारण की आपण बऱ्याच वेळेस दादांना टी व्हीवरती नाही तर न्यूजपेपरमध्ये वेगवेगळ्या माध्यमांमधून बघितलं असेल. पण एक थोडक्यात सांगायचं म्हटलं तर दादा राज्याचे विद्यमान उच्च व तंत्र शिक्षण, वस्त्रोद्योग व संसदीय कार्यमंत्री आहेत. आणि दादांचं जे एक बॅकग्राऊंड आहे विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, आपल्यासाठी फार प्रेरणादायी ही गोष्ट आज असणार आहे. दादांचं आज इथे आपल्याला चीफ गेस्ट म्हणून लाभणं हे ह्याच्यासाठी जास्त इम्पॉर्टंट आहे कारण की अतिशय सामान्य कुटुंबातनं आल्यानंतरही दादांनी म्हणजे दादांचे आईवडील दोघंही गिरणी कामगार म्हणून कार्यरत होते आणि प्रतिकूल परिस्थितीमधनं दादांनी BComपर्यंतचं शिक्षण मुंबईमध्ये सिद्धार्थ विद्यालयामध्ये कंप्लीट केलं. आणि मित्रांनो, दादांनी म्हणजे त्यांच्या महाविद्यालयीन जीवनापासूनच ABVPच्या कामाला सुरुवात केली होती. म्हणजे जे आपण म्हणतो की एक फोकस आणि डेडिकेशन की दादांना आपल्या महाविद्यालयीन जीवनापासूनच कळालं होतं की कुठेतरी त्यांच्यामध्ये जे एक नेतृत्व गुण आहे आणि विद्यार्थी नाहीतर मग त्यांच्यासाठी काय आपण एक्स्ट्रा सोयी करून देऊ शकतो हे त्याच्यामधून आपल्याला दिसतं. मित्रांनो, दादांनी त्यांनी विद्यार्थ्यांना अधिक सक्रिय केलं. आणि एक फार इम्पॉर्टंट गोष्ट मला इथे सांगावीशी वाटते मित्रांनो, कॅम्पस कल्चर म्हणून हा जो एक नवा आयाम आहे हा दादांनीच ABVPला दिलेला आहे. मित्रांनो, तंत्र शिक्षण, ABVP, डिपेक्स, कृषी शिक्षण, विद्यार्थी परिषदेसारखे नवीन नवीन आयाम त्यांच्यामुळेच आपल्याला हे विकसित झालेले बघायला मिळतात. आणि मित्रांनो, जसं मी आपल्याला पहिले सांगितलं की अतिशय सामान्य कुटुंबामधनं एक खडतर परिस्थितीमधनं संघर्ष करून आज इतक्या महत्त्वाच्या पोझिशनवरती दादा आहेत. सो दादांना सर्वसामान्य लोकांची जी दुःखं आहेत ते त्यांना भावना, त्यांचे प्रश्न अतिशय जवळून दादांनी बघितलेले आहेत. आणि त्यामुळे मित्रांनो, जे प्रश्न प्रशासकीय स्तरावर सोडवणं शक्य होत नाही ते दादा विविध संस्थांच्या, सेवाभावी संस्थांच्या माध्यमातून सोडवण्यासाठी नेहमीच प्राधान्य देतात. काही एक्झाम्पल सांगायचं राहिलं मित्रांनो तर संवेदना फाउंडेशन म्हणजे महिलांना स्वावलंबी बनवण्यासाठीची जी चळवळ आहे ती दादांनी सुरू केली. आर्थिकदृष्ट्या वंचितांचे खेळघर हाही उपक्रम दादांचाच आहे. आदर्श ग्राम दत्तक योजना. आणि मित्रांनो, एक सगळ्यात इम्पॉर्टंट की जिल्ह्यामधले जे खेळाडू आहेत, आपल्याकडे प्रतिभावंत फार विद्यार्थी आहेत पण त्यांना बऱ्याच वेळेस सोयीसुविधा उपलब्ध नाही होऊ शकत. सो दादांनी DPDC जिल्हा नियोजनाच्या माध्यमातून क्रीडांगण आणि क्रीडा साहित्य निधी उपलब्ध करून देण्यासाठीही फार पुढाकार दादांनी घेतलेला आहे. मित्रांनो, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटंट आपण सगळेजण स्टुडंट्स आहात चार्टर्ड अकाउंटंटचे आणि आपल्याला एक ध्येय आपल्याला पाहिजे असतं आपल्या आयुष्यामध्ये, एक प्रेरणा पाहिजे असते. आणि मी खरंच मनापासून आभारी आहे दादांचा की दादांनी ज्या एक प्रतिकूल परिस्थितीमधून येऊन आज इतक्या महत्त्वाच्या कॅबिनेट मंत्री आणि तेही उच्च तंत्र शिक्षण या पदावरती आहेत दादा. सो नक्कीच आपण ह्या गोष्टींमधून जर प्रेरणा घेतली तर आपल्याला आपल्या CAच्या करिअरमध्ये त्याचा नक्कीच फायदा होईल. मी दादांचा मनापासून आभार व्यक्त करतो, धन्यवाद देतो की दादांनी आपल्याला ॲज अ चीफ गेस्ट म्हणून त्यांचा वेळ उपलब्ध करून दिला. आणि मी एक रिक्वेस्ट करेल दादांना की असंच आम्हाला वेळोवेळी मार्गदर्शन जर दादांच्या माध्यमातून होत राहिलं तर दादा नक्कीच आमचे जे CA विद्यार्थी आहेत ते चांगल्या पद्धतीने यश संपादन करतील. मित्रांनो, मी माझे 2 शब्द इथेच संपवतो. दादा, पुन्हा एक वेळेस धन्यवाद की आपण आम्हाला वेळ दिला. मी दादांना माईक हँडओव्हर करतो. थँक्यू दादा.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Shri Chandrakant Dada Patil to kindly enlighten us.
मी आपल्या सगळ्या पदाधिकाऱ्यांना असं विचारलं की मराठी न कळणारे किती जण असतील. ते म्हणाले 10% असू शकतात. त्यामुळे मी सुरुवातीला थोडं सिस्टमॅटिकली मांडता यावं म्हणून माझं एक इंग्लिशमधलं भाषण वाचून दाखवेन, पण जेवढ्यांना कळेल तेवढ्यांना कळेल. मराठीतून नंतर मी जे काही बोलेन त्याच्यात मी प्रत्यक्ष फील्डमध्ये जे अनुभवतो त्याचं जास्त रिफ्लेक्शन असेल. एक वेल ऑर्गनाइज कॉन्फरन्स इथे आहे, त्यामुळे त्या सिस्टीमने गेलेलं कधी चांगलं असतं. मी चौकशी केली की 2 दिवसाची ही कॉन्फरन्स होणार आहे, ज्याला ज्ञान संवाद मेगा CA स्टुडंट कॉन्फरन्स म्हटलेलं आहे. ऑर्गनाइज बाय इन्स्टिट्यूट ऑफ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटंट्स ऑफ इंडिया, CA स्टुडंट कमिटी, WICSA पिंपरी चिंचवड ब्रँच. मला ही लक्षात आलं की खूप चांगल्या व्यवस्था आयोजकांनी केलेल्या आहेत. आज सकाळी जी कॉन्फरन्स सुरू झाली, योगायोगाने तुमचे चेअरमन जे आहेत मंगेश किनरे, ते माझे खूप जवळजवळ 30-35 वर्षाचे मित्र, ते मुद्दाम मला भेटण्यासाठी थांबले होते, कारण त्यांना लगेच 4 वाजता मुंबईत कार्यक्रम आहे. आणि त्यामुळे मला इथे कार्यक्रमाला येण्याची जी अनेक अट्रॅक्शन होती, त्यातलं हे एक अट्रॅक्शन होतं की बऱ्याच दिवसांनी मंगेश किन्नरे भेटतील, जे खूप चांगले CA आहेत आणि वेगवेगळ्या स्तरावर तुमच्या CA असोसिएशनचे ऑफिस बेअर होता ते आता चेअरमन झालेत. It's an absolute privilege to stand before you today as the chief guest at this prestigious event. I am truly honored to address this gathering of talented individuals who are the future chartered accountants of our great nation. I extend my heartfelt congratulations to all students for their hard work, dedication and remarkable achievements. यात किती हार्डवर्क असतं हे मी पाहतो, कारण माझ्या घरी माझी बायको ICWA आहे, त्याच्यानंतर माझा जो PA बरोबर आहे तो CA आहे, त्याची बायको CA आहे. माझ्या मुंबईच्या बंगल्यावर काही माणसं सेवेसाठीच जन्माला आलेले असतात. असं एक आनंद कडूकर म्हणून आहे की त्याला सतत लोकांना पाणी हवे का, चहा घेणार का, त्याची म्हणजे एक नॉर्मल एम्प्लॉई, त्याची मुलगी CA करते आहे, ती डहाणूकरला मुंबईमध्ये शिकते. त्यामुळे मला ह्याची जाणीव आहे की हा अभ्यासक्रम CA, ICWA, CS हे किती कठीण असतं. आणि त्यामुळे आय ऑनर युअर एफर्ट्स. I extend my heartfelt congratulations to all students for their hard work, dedication and remarkable achievements. First and foremost, let us acknowledge the incredible journey you have embarked upon as a ICA students. The countless hours of studying, the rigorous training and the unwavering commitment that you have displayed deserve our utmost admiration. Your passion for the field of finance and your unwavering pursuit of excellence have brought you to this point, and for that I applaud each and every one of you. As you step into the world of chartered accountancy, I want to emphasize the immense importance of your chosen profession. Chartered accountants play a vital role in shaping the financial landscape of our country. Your expertise in finance, auditing, taxation, and accounting is indispensable to business, organizations, and the overall economy. The trust that is placed in you as a financial guardians is immeasurable. In addition to technical expertise, it is crucial that you uphold the highest professional ethics and integrity. The responsibilities that come with being a chartered accountant are immense. You are not just crunching numbers or analyzing financial statements. You are guardians of trust, ensuring transparency and acting in the best interests of your clients and the public. Embrace the values of integrity, honesty, and objectivity as the guiding principles for professional journey. However, learning should not end with the completion of your education. The field of accounting is dynamic and ever evolving. To stay ahead, continuous learning is essential. I encourage each one of you to embrace lifelong learning, staying updated with the latest industry trends, and considering additional certification that will enhance your knowledge and skills. Be hungry for knowledge and strive to become subject matter experts in your chosen domain. The world of chartered accountancy offers a vast array of career opportunities. While public accounting may be the traditional path, do not limit yourself. Explore the vast possibilities in corporate finance, consultancy, entrepreneurship, and even the international arena. Seek global exposure as understanding global financial systems. Regulations will open doors to new opportunities and enrich your professional journey. Networking and collaborations are key to success in any field, and accounting is no exception. Build a strong professional network within the accounting community. Engage with peers, seniors, and industry professionals. These connections will not only provide valuable opportunities but also serve as a support system throughout your career. Remember, collaboration and teamwork often lead to the most innovative solutions. While your professional aspirations are of utmost importance, it is equally essential to prioritize your well being and maintain a healthy work life balance. Take time for yourself, engage in activities that bring you joy, and nurture your physical and mental health. Remember that a fulfilled and balanced life outside of work will positively impact your professional performance. As you embark on your careers, I encourage you to leverage your skills and knowledge to make a difference in society. Engage in pro bono work, volunteer your expertise to non-profit organizations, and champion sustainable business practices. The power of your influence reaches far beyond financial statements. Use it wisely and with a sense of purpose. In conclusion, dear students, I want you to know that I have full confidence in your abilities, your hard work, dedication, and the solid foundation provided by your education have equipped you to overcome any challenge that comes your way. Believe in yourself. Embrace your opportunity for growth and never stop learning. The journey ahead may not always be smooth, but your determination will lead you to remarkable success. Once again, congratulations to each and every one of you. I wish you all a fulfilling and prosperous journey as you embark on this noble profession. May you make us proud and continue to uphold the values and integrity of the chartered accountancy profession. Thank you and best wishes for the bright future ahead.
धन्यवाद सर.
आता थोडं हिंदी आणि थोडं मराठी 2-4 मिनटं मी बोलतो. त्यांनी धन्यवाद म्हटलं म्हणजे बसा म्हटलं. झालं आता 45 वर्षात 45,000 कार्यक्रम झाल्यामुळे कोणाच्या बॉडी लँग्वेजमध्ये काय रिफ्लेक्शन असतं मला माहिती आहे. पण त्यांचा दोष नाही. मी आल्यालाच असं म्हटलं की मला खूप घाई आहे, कारण मी साधारणतः दिवसाला 12-13 कार्यक्रम आणि वेगवेगळ्या प्लेसेसमध्ये. आज सकाळी मुंबईत गोरेगावमध्ये काही कार्यक्रम केले, मग इथे याच्यानंतर इथल्या पोलीस हेडक्वार्टरला 40 फोर व्हीलर आपण दिल्या जिल्ह्याच्या नियोजनमधून, कारण मी जिल्ह्याचा पालकमंत्री असतो, त्याला झेंडा दाखवण्याचा कार्यक्रम आहे. मग पुण्यात आहे आणि मग पुन्हा एकदा औंधमध्ये आहे. त्यामुळे त्यांचं म्हणणं बरोबर आहे. तर माझं म्हणणं एवढंच आहे की सुरुवातीलाच मी म्हटलं की खूप कठीण अभ्यासक्रम तुम्ही घेतलेला आहात आणि तुमच्या आवडीने, त्यांनी तुमच्या आईवडिलांनी काही तुमच्या लादलं नाही की तुम्हाला प्रत्येकाची एक मोठं होता ॲम्बिशन होते. आपण डॉक्टर व्हायचं, आपण इंजिनियर व्हायचं, तर आपण CA व्हायचं. जेव्हा माझ्या आनंद कडूकर नावाच्या एका सामान्य एम्प्लॉईची मुलगी म्हणाले मला डहाणूकरला ॲडमिशन व्हायचं. म्हटलं ताई, म्हटलं डहाणूकरला फार हुशार मुलं येतात. तर म्हणाले नाही मी करेन. मला CA पण व्हायचं. CA म्हटलं मला असं वाटतं की तू नको CAच्या फंदात पडू. ते म्हणाले मला CA व्हायचं आहे. त्यामुळे कोणीतरी लादलेलं नसताना आपली आवड, आपली काही स्वप्न म्हणून आपण तो अभ्यासक्रम निवडत असतो. पण माझं असं मत आहे की त्या निवडण्यामध्ये मेजॉरिटी आपल्याला ह्याच्यातून प्रतिष्ठा किती मिळेल, आपल्याला यातून पैसे किती मिळतील, आपल्याला यातून चांगलं आयुष्य कसं जगता येईल. मग मुलगी असेल तर मग या प्रोफेशनमुळे चांगला नवरा कसा मिळेल, मग मुलगा असेल तर या प्रोफेशनमुळे चांगली बायको कशी मिळेल, या स्वतःभोवती मर्यादित गोष्टींमुळे आपण कुठलाही अभ्यासक्रम निवडत असतो. त्या अभ्यासक्रमामध्ये म्हणजे MPSC असेल की ज्या MPSCमधून राज्याचे अधिकारी निवडले जातात, UPSC असेल ज्या UPSCमधून केंद्राचे अधिकारी निवडले जातात, त्यात फार कमी लोकांना मला देशाची सेवा करायची आहे म्हणून महाराष्ट्राचा काय म्हणून क्लास 1 व्हायचं असतं असं मला वाटत नाही. कारण मी तर 80पासून विद्यार्थ्यांमध्ये राहतो, कारण मी अखिल भारतीय विद्यार्थी परिषद ABVP नावाच्या वर्ल्ड रिनाऊंड स्टुडंट ऑर्गनायझेशनमध्ये 13 वर्ष माझं घर सोडलं होतं, ज्याला पूर्ण वेळ काम करणं म्हणतात, जी त्या संघटनेची परंपरा आहे की काही जणांनी 2 वर्ष 4 वर्ष संघटनेसाठी सोडायचे असतं. मी 13 वर्ष सोडली. तेव्हा माझ्याकडे 1 जिल्हा, मग 3 जिल्हे, 1 राज्य, मग 3 राज्य आणि मग ऑल इंडिया जनरल सेक्रेटरी मी झालो. देश किमान 4 वेळा मी फिरलो. एकही युनिव्हर्सिटी अशी नाही की जिथे मी गेलो नाही. आणि त्यामुळे खूप विद्यार्थ्यांमध्ये राहायला मला मिळालं. नंतर अलीकडच्या काळात मी राजकारणात आलो आणि मग राजकारणातही महाराष्ट्राचा सेक्रेटरी, महाराष्ट्र जनरल सेक्रेटरी, महाराष्ट्राचा व्हाईस प्रेसिडेंट, महाराष्ट्र प्रेसिडेंट, एका खात्याचा मंत्री, 2 खात्याचा मंत्री, 14 ते 19 मी 8 खात्यांचा मंत्री होतो. ते माणसांच्या जगात दिवसभर मी राहत असतो आणि त्यामुळे साधारणतः कुठलाही विद्यार्थी विद्यार्थिनी ह्यातून मला कधी देशासाठी करायचं आहे, समाजासाठी करायचं आहे, अशा भूमिकेत काही आपलं प्रोफेशन निवडत नाही. तो प्रोफेशन निवडतो ते प्रामुख्याने मगाशी म्हटल्याप्रमाणे स्वतःसाठी. माझी एकच विनंती आहे की प्रत्येक प्रोफेशनला, डॉक्टर असेल, वकील असेल, तुम्ही CA असाल, प्रत्येक प्रोफेशनची समाजाकडून काय अपेक्षा आहे की तुम्ही आमच्यासाठी काहीतरी करा. आणि मला असं वाटतं की ह्या देशामधला एक विद्यार्थी म्हणून ह्या देशातल्या सगळ्या फॅसिलिटीजचा फायदा घेत असताना डिरेक्ट आईवडिलांची जशी जबाबदारी आहे की त्यांनी आपलं जन्माला घातलं, त्यांनी वाढवलं, त्यांनी आपल्या शाळेचा खर्च केला, कॉलेजचा खर्च केला, मग म्हातारपणी त्यांची काळजी केली पाहिजे. किती जण करतात हा भाग वेळा. असं जसं डिरेक्ट आईवडिलांबद्दलची आपली कमिटमेंट असते, तसं इनडायरेक्टली समाज खूपच करतो ना आपल्यासाठी. तुमच्या शाळेमध्ये होणारा खर्च तुमच्या आईवडिलांच्या फीमधून होत नाही. तुमच्या कॉलेजमधला खर्च तर बिलकुल तुमच्या आईवडिलांच्या फीमधून होत नाही. मग तुम्हाला समाज वेगळ्या गोष्टी शिकवतो. तर त्याच्याप्रतीसुद्धा आपलं काही कर्तव्य असतं आणि त्यातलं CA हे मोठं प्रोफेशन आहे. याचं कारण या देशामध्ये एक काळ असा गेला, म्हणजे 10, 20, 25 वर्षापूर्वी, की सर्वसाधारणतः समाज काय आहे तर नोकरदार. मग त्या नोकरदारांचं काय करायचं तर ॲन्युअल रिटर्न भरायचं, एवढंच काम तुमचं होतं. पण आता समाजातला फार मोठा वर्ग बिझनेसमॅन व्हायला लागला, व्यापारी व्हायला लागला. का तर 14ला मोदीजी पंतप्रधान झाल्यानंतर त्यांनी झपाटा लावला. मग त्याच्यामध्ये मोठ्या प्रमाणात त्यांनी दलित समाजामध्ये काही योजना दिल्या, नवीन युवक युवतींना काही योजना दिल्या. आणि त्यांना सारखा आग्रह धरला की तुम्ही उद्योग करा. उद्योग केल्याशिवाय आपला देश श्रीमंत होणार नाही. उद्योग केल्याशिवाय तुम्ही लोकांना नोकरी देणार नाही. म्हणजे 15 ऑगस्टला मी एका कार्यक्रमाला गेलो, ज्या कार्यक्रमामध्ये 60 दलित तरुणांना डिझेल पेट्रोल कॅरिंगचे जे टँकर असतात ते देण्याचा कार्यक्रम होता. त्यांची चावी माझ्या हस्ते दिली जाणार होती. माझा स्वभाव आहे की आधी जायचं, कार्यक्रमाची नीट माहिती घ्यायची. तसं विचारलं की हे कोणी दिले, तर म्हणाले ही केंद्राची योजना आहे. काय योजना आहे तर म्हणजे हा 60 लाखाचा टँकर जो असतो त्याला 7 वर्षाचं पहिलं ॲडव्हान्समध्ये गव्हर्नमेंट खात्री देते की तुला 7 वर्षाचं डिझेल पेट्रोलचं कॅरिंगचं काम आम्ही दिलं. त्यामुळे बँक त्याला लोन देते 60 लाख रुपये. त्या 60 लाखामधले 24 लाख म्हणजे 30 का 35% हे अनुदान असतं. म्हणजे शेवटचा स्लॉट त्याने भरायचाच नसतो. म्हणजे त्याला एक 35-40 लाखाला तो टँकर पडतो. दरमहा 4 लाखाचं त्याला चेक मिळतो ह्या पेट्रोल डिझेल कॅरिंगचा. सुरुवातीचे काही दिवस त्याच्यातले 2,80,000 रुपये हप्ता जातो बँकेचा आणि 1,20,000 मिळतात. पण 3 वर्षामध्ये सगळं लोन पे होतं आणि मग दरवर्षी त्याला चालतं. मला एक सांगा, दलित समाजातला एक तरुण झोपडपट्टीमध्ये राहतो, त्याला जेव्हा गव्हर्नमेंट ही स्कीम देते तो तिथल्यापुरता मर्यादित राहत नाही, मग त्याच्या आणखीन मित्रमैत्रिणी नातेवाईकांना सुद्धा आयुष्यात मोठा करण्याचा प्रयत्न करतो. असं गेल्या काही वर्षामध्ये मोठ्या प्रमाणात तुम्हाला लक्षात येईल की तो जो एक ट्रेंड होता, सरकारी नोकरी करायची, मग प्रॉव्हिडंट फंड मिळतो, मग ग्रॅच्युइटी मिळते, मग पेन्शन मिळते, सगळ्यात महत्त्वाचं म्हणजे चांगली मुलगी मिळते कारण तिचे आईवडील म्हणतात की सरकारी नोकर आहे, काय अडचण नाही. तो ट्रेंड बदलला आणि मोठ्या प्रमाणावर मला काहीतरी बिझनेस करायचा आहे, मला काहीतरी नवीन शोधायचं आहे. शोध तर किती शोध लागत आहेत. परवा मी COEPमध्ये, जे देशातलं सगळ्यात जुनं आणि चांगलं इंजिनिअरिंग कॉलेज मानलं जातं, केंद्रीय शिक्षण मंत्री आले ते धर्मेंद्र प्रधान आणि मी गेलो होतो. ते एक्झिबिशन होतं. आम्ही दोघे चाट पडलो की काय संशोधनं चाललेले आहेत. त्यांनी लगेचच त्यांच्या ऑफिसर्सना बोलवलं, म्हणाले की देशभरातले असे 1000 संशोधनं शोधा आणि त्याचं एक महिन्याभराचं एक्झिबिशन लावून टाका आणि त्याच वेळेला मोठ्या प्रमाणात इंडस्ट्रीजला बोलवा की खूप सुंदर प्रॉडक्ट आणली आहेत पोरांनी, तुम्ही याला फायनान्स करा. माझा मुद्दा असा की त्यामुळे एक काळ रिटायर्ड पर्सन्स आणि सरकारी कर्मचाऱ्यांची रिटर्न भरणं इतकाच तुमच्या व्यवसायाचा लिमिटेड स्कोप होता. तो स्कोप आता खूप वाढला आहे. रोज कायदे बदलत आहेत, टॅक्सेशनचे स्लॅब बदलत आहेत. या सगळ्याचा अभ्यास करून मग सामाजिक काम तुमचं काय, तर एखादा नवोदित आला की हो मला व्यवसाय करायचा आहे, मला एक प्रोजेक्ट रिपोर्ट करून द्या ना, नाही पहिली फी माझ्या टेबलवर ठेव मग बघू. असं न होता तो माझा भाऊ आहे, माझी बहीण आहे, पैसे तर मला मिळतीलच, पण त्याला चांगला प्रोजेक्ट रिपोर्ट कसा करून देता येईल, बँकेत त्याच्याबरोबर जाऊन बँकेशी निगोशिएट कसं करता येईल, अशा प्रकारचं सुद्धा काम आपण सगळ्यांनी केलं पाहिजे असं मला वाटतं. इथे बसलेले सगळेच जणं पास होतील, ते CA होतील असं मी गृहीत धरतो आणि अशी अपेक्षा धरतो की एका महिलांमध्ये काम करणाऱ्या संघटनेला फ्री सर्व्हिस तुमची द्या, की त्या महिला बचत गटाला लोन कसं मिळेल, त्या महिला बचत गटाला पैसे नीट रिपे करण्याची शिस्त कशी लागेल, त्या महिला बचत गटाला सेविंगची शिस्त कशी लागेल, त्या महिला बचत गटाला एक्सपान्शनची सवय कशी लागेल, असं एक तरी सोशल वर्क तुम्ही स्वतःशी अटॅच करून घ्या आणि मग असं बघा की त्याचा आनंद खूप मोठा असतो, चेहऱ्यावर कसं त्याचं समाधान असतं, ज्या समाधानाची किंमत ही मार्केटमध्ये होऊ शकत नाही. या समाधानाची फी किती, तर त्याची काही फी बी नसते. म्हणून मला असं वाटतं की हा विचार करा. माझी विद्यार्थी परिषदेतली खूप चांगली एका अर्थाने कार्यकर्ती ही IAS झाली, इन्कम टॅक्सची कमिशनर झाली, आता त्याने मद्रासची कमिशनर असतानाच रिटायरमेंट घेतली आणि विदेशात पुढे शिकायला गेली. तर ती करता 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 ती काय काय लेवलची कामं तुम्हाला मिळतात, तर आता भारत 60 अविकसित देशाचा पालक झालेला आहे, पॅरेंट झालेला आहे. मग त्यांना कोविडमध्ये वॅक्सिन आपण दिलं, बाकी सगळंच PPE किटपासून दिलं. तर ह्या 60 देशाचं टॅक्स डिझाईन आपण करतो हे आपल्याला माहीत नसेल. तर मध्ये मी विचारलं की संगीता कुठे आहे सध्या, नवरात्रीचा सुप्रीम कोर्टामध्ये खूप चांगली प्रॅक्टिस करतो. तर ते म्हणाले मी सध्या ॲब्रॉड आहे, बाहेर आहे. का का गं काय कोर्स करतेस का तू, कारण सारखं काही शिकणं चालू असतं. नाही नाही म्हणाले, भारत सरकारच्या वतीने 10 अविकसित देश जे हळूहळू आपल्या पायावर उभं राहत आहेत त्यांचं टॅक्स डिझायनिंगचं काम मला आलं. म्हणजे आपण आता कुठे चाललो, आपण दुसऱ्या देशाचं टॅक्स डिझायनिंग करायला लागलो. तर ह्या सगळ्यामध्ये तुमची खूप मोठी भूमिका आहे. म्हणून तुम्ही पुन्हा त्याच मुद्द्याशी येऊन माझं मी बोलणं संपवतो की पुन्हा मी त्याच मुद्द्याशी येईन की पूर्वीचं रिटर्न भरण्या इतकं तुमचं स्वरूप मर्यादित राहिलेलं नाही आहे. तुम्ही आता देशाच्या इकॉनॉमीमध्ये खूप काही इनपुट देणारे आहात आणि त्यामुळे 2 दिवस हा तुमचा जो ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग आहे तो खूप आपल्याला उपयोगी पडो आणि आगामी काळातसुद्धा संगीता गोडबोले नवरे जसं मद्रासची कमिशनर असताना अजून काही शिकावं म्हणून रिटायरमेंट घेऊन विदेशात गेली, तसं सारखं शिक्षणाची ज्ञानाची भूक आपल्याला असली पाहिजे, तर नवीन नवीन गोष्टी आपल्याला कळतात. पुन्हा एकदा आपल्या सगळ्यांना तुमच्या भावी आयुष्यासाठी शुभेच्छा देतो आणि माझं बोलणं संपवतो.
Thank you, sir.
I request CA Pankaj Panni sir to present the floral bouquet to CA Akshay Bhaiti sir. Requesting CA Vaibhav Modi sir to present the floral bouquet to Mr. Mangesh Deshpande.
कशी प्रोफेशन बदलतात त्याचं हे मंगेश मोठं उदाहरण आहे. अतिशय उत्तम CA करतानाच त्याची बायको आणि तो प्रेमात पडल्यामुळे ती पण CA हा पण CA. पण त्याला अचानक असं वाटलं की मुंबईजवळ भाईंदरला एक अप्रतिम आपण गेलंच पाहिजे असं एक ट्रेनिंग सेंटर आहे, रामभाऊ म्हाळगी प्रबोधिनी. तिथे एक वर्षभराचे राज्यकर्ते तयार करण्याचा कोर्स आहे, 1 वर्ष कोर्स आहे तो, की कसं भाषण करायचं, कसं उभं राहायचं, वेगवेगळ्या प्रश्नांची माहिती कशी घ्यायची. तर त्यात तो गेला, का गेला माहीत नाही. तर शेवटचे 3 महिने फील्डवर अप्रेंटिसशिप असते, एखाद्या राजकीय नेत्याबरोबर राहायचं असतं. तसं तो त्याला अलॉटमेंट झाला चंद्रकांत पाटील. मग 3 महिने म्हणून आला तो आता माझ्याबरोबर राहिला.
I request CA Pankaj Parni sir to kindly give the vote of thanks.
So good afternoon. How is the Josh? Yes. आपले जे आजचे आपले गेस्ट आहेत त्यांना असं वाटायला पाहिजे की आपले CAचे विद्यार्थी असतात, यांच्या चेहऱ्यावर टेन्शननी हसूही असतं. त्याच्यामुळे एकदा जरा जोरदार आपण टाळ्या वाजवू आणि परत एकदा हाऊ इज द जोश. यस. कारण की सर CAचे मुलंही फक्त अभ्यासाचं टेन्शन न घेता इतर ॲक्टिव्हिटी करतायत. उद्या त्यांचा कल्चरल प्रोग्राम पण आहे. तर दे आर ऑल्सो व्हेरी, आता सगळे पण इतर करणार पण आहे. करणार आहे सर. सो इट्स माय प्लेजर टू गिव्ह दी वोट ऑफ थँक्स फॉर ऑन दिस इव्हेंट. आज आपल्या या प्रोग्रामसाठी श्री चंद्रकांत दादा पाटील चीफ गेस्ट म्हणून मिळाले, हे आपलं खरंच भाग्य आहे. म्हणजे सध्या ते राज्याचे विद्यमान उच्च तंत्र शिक्षण मंत्री आहेत. उच्च तंत्र शिक्षण म्हणजे शिक्षणाबद्दल त्यांना एक वेगळाच कळवळ आहे. आणि जसं इंट्रोडक्शनमध्ये अक्षयने सांगितलं की जे कॉलेज जीवनापासूनच अखिल भारतीय परिषदेत त्यांनी काम सुरू केलं. तर जेव्हा आम्ही त्यांना सांगितलं की सर CA मुलांचे आम्ही कॉन्फरन्स करतोय आणि आपणास यायचं आहे, तर 1 सेकंदही न घेता त्यांनी त्यांची सहमती दर्शवली. म्हणजे ॲक्च्युली जसं त्यांनी सांगितलं दिवसातले 14-15 प्रोग्राम करायचे असतात, पण जेव्हा त्यांना कळालं की मला विद्यार्थ्यांबरोबर इंटरॅक्शन करायला मिळेल, तर स्वतः सरांनी आम्हाला इमिजिएटली ॲक्सेप्टन्स दिलं. आणि त्याच्यानंतर प्रोग्राम आम्ही 5 दिवसापूर्वीच त्यांनी आम्हाला सांगितलं की आम्ही येणार आहोत. आणि त्याच्यानंतर त्यांच्याच ऑफिसमधून कंटिन्युअस फॉलोअप की कसा प्रोग्राम होणार आहे, काय होणार आहे. तर म्हणजे एवढं त्यांना त्या विद्यार्थ्यांबद्दल त्यांचा एक कळवळा, एक विशेष अट्रॅक्शन त्यांना विद्यार्थ्यांबद्दल आहेत. त्यांनी जसं भाषणात सांगितलं की CAंना फक्त रिटर्न भरायची ही एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नाही, तर त्याच्यापासून आता आपल्याला वरती जावं लागणार आहे. आणि तसंच आपण समाजाचे काहीतरी देणे लागतो. तर मला तरी वाटतं आज इथे बसलेले सगळे विद्यार्थी त्यांना पहिले तर CA पास व्हायचं आहे. CA पास करून चांगला मुलगा किंवा मुलगी शोधायची आहे. लग्न करून सेटल झाल्यानंतर आज आपण ही प्रतिज्ञा घेऊ की आम्ही समाजाचं जे काय देणं लागतो ते आज आपण सरांना सांगू की सर आमचं जे समाजाचं बद्दलचं देणं आहे तर आम्ही नक्कीच देऊ. आईवडिलांसाठी तर आपण करणारच आहोत, पण समाजासाठी सुद्धा आम्ही जे देणं लागतं ते फुलाची पाकळी किंवा आम्ही नक्कीच देऊ. तर मला तरी वाटतं टाळ्या वाजून आपण सरांना निरोप देऊ की सर आम्ही नक्कीच समाजाचं देणं पूर्ण करू. तर मी सरांचे विशेष आभार इथं व्यक्त करतो. त्याचबरोबर अक्षय बायती सरांचं विशेष आभार की त्यांनी आम्हाला सरांपर्यंत आम्ही पोहोचू शकलो. त्याचबरोबर सरांबरोबर जे CA मंगेश देशपांडे आहेत त्यांचेही विशेष आभार. त्याचबद्दल इथे आलेले सगळे पोलीस आणि यांनी जे आम्हाला सहकार्य केलं त्यांचं विशेष आभार. आणि सगळ्या विद्यार्थ्यांचाही विशेष आभार. धन्यवाद. थँक्यू व्हेरी मच.
I request everyone to kindly raise. A huge round of applause for the sir.
We shall now resume the previous session. I understand bhook lagi hai, but Aditi is still waiting.
Now, in regional assessment units, there will be further more units, namely assessment unit, review unit, verification unit, and technical unit. All the assessments that will be carried out will be looked after the assessment unit. What they'll do is they'll look for any queries, additional liability that has to be derived, Then verification unit will be doing the verification part with the help of the supporting documents that are presented by the assessee, and then they'll report on the queries as given by the assessment unit. Technical unit will be helping mostly on the technical part such as the data analytics, information technology, and in some cases, few of the cases will be transferred to the review unit for further review as conducted by the assessment unit. This is how the structure will be. There will be other 8 regional units, and in those regional units, there will be further 4 units as I explained. Now, for e-assessment, there will be 2 types of procedures. First will be draft assessment and final assessment. In draft assessment, what happens is, पहले तो notice मिल गया रहता है assessee को, and what the assessee does it, he goes to the income tax portal, and under e-proceedings, where he has received the notice, he'll give his response in the submit response tab. What he'll give is, as I explained, he'll give the additional documents as required by the assessment unit, and he'll try to prove the point as given by the as given in the notice. Then what the assessment unit does is, they go through the documents as presented by the assessee. If they have any further queries, the assessment unit further contacts with the verification unit, technical unit, or review unit, or in case if they have any misunderstandings or further clarifications that the assessment unit or the officer needs, they will conduct a conference, video conference between the assessee and the officer. In this video conference, the identity of the officer will not be revealed. That is the main advantage of e-assessment. That is, there is transparency and no chance for corruption, or scope of corruption is almost nil. In those video conferencing, whatever queries that the assessment unit has, that is the officer has, he'll be solving them with the assessee face-to-face on video conferencing, and if the assessee himself wants to give any additional clarifications, he'll be explaining them to the assessment officer. And based on these clarifications or the supportings that have been given by the assessee, the draft assessment will be finalized. Now, in final assessment, there will be 3 scenarios. First of all, whatever assessment decision that the assessment unit has decided, whether there has to be an additional penalty or any excess liability that the assessee has to pay, it will be initiated by giving a demand notice to the assessee. In case the assessee is not satisfied with the result of the assessment, he can further escalate it, and the assessment unit or the income tax department will give the assessee a show cause notice. In the show cause notice, the assessee has to prove, he has to show the cause why the result that the assessment unit or the income tax department that has given is not correct, and he'll prove his innocence or why he is not found to be guilty. And in the third process, few of the cases will be again sent to the review unit, where if there is any additional liability, a demand notice will be given, or the assessment will be completed or closed. There are but few exceptions under e-assessment. Assessees who are not registered, who don't have their PAN, will not come under e-assessment. Or the income escaping assessments are not covered under e-assessments. Also, where the income tax return has been filed under paper mode, all these types of cases are not covered under e-assessment. So I hope you all understood what e-assessment was. And whenever you get a chance in your office to carry out an session, carry out any case for reassessment, at least 50% मैंने जो सीखा है, मतलब अभी explain किया आपको वो याद आए, आप एक initiative लो, do the case, take the task, क्योंकि वो जो satisfaction मिलता है, ऑफिसर कहाँ से अमाउंट्स ढूंढ के निकालते हैं, वो आपको दिन रात बैठ के 2-3 दिन 4 दिन हफ्ता भर जो आप लगाते हो, जो satisfaction मिलता है after closing the assessment, that is different. Thank you.
Thank you, Aditi. Next, I would like to call upon stage Mr. Atharva Bhagwati to present his paper.
ग्रीन पुढे रेड ना मागे ओके तुला हे प्रेझेंटर रिसिव्हर पाहिजे असेल तर ते नाही रिसिव्हर नको ठीक आहे माईक चालू नाही रे Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone present here. I am Atharva Bhagwate. I am here to present my paper on the topic of means simplification of the intricacies and the complex provisions of our normal income tax income heads, which are mainly PGBP, house property income, and income from other sources. So, as we all are aware, as we are CS students and we are most students would be inter and above category that. So we are aware of the provisions and the what we can say the sections in which we deal in the income tax act for calculation of income. But there are certain provisions which I thought were a bit complex or not that simple to go and calculate the income through this through those sources. So I thought to firstly learn them myself first and then present it in front of you. So let's start with the first. First, we will go about PGBP and the two mainly provisions of the same. While we talk about PGBP, mainly there are two types. Means the from PGBP, as we all know, is profits and gains from business and profession. But it's divided as profits from the business and the gains from the profession. As business is conducted for profits and a profession is practiced for the gains which are arising from it. So. Firstly, I need to clarify the means definition of business and profession. Business is defined as any activity, commercial, manufacturing, or dealership activity through which an individual conducts these business activities and means incurs profits to the same. And profession is a bit different from that, where means he is an individual who is doing business activities, but there is a statutory requirement for a particular degree. That means he should hold a particular degree to, practice this business. Whereas in business, it's plain business. It's not any requirement for a degree or anything. He can straight away go and conduct his business activities. But profession is a bit different where the degree requirement is there. So as you can see that various professionals are there who have a particular degree for taking their profession up. Now, talking about the complex provisions, one of the complex provisions which I thought is the section 43 CA of the Income Tax Act, where which deals about the transfer of land and building, or we can say commercial property. What we can say, the prerequisite of this condition is that the land and building should be held as a stock in trade for business, and it should be held by a business constructor. Means not like that the individuals like you and me who are holding house property as a capital asset. It is not applicable for that. It is applicable for a person who is in regular business of the same and is involved in its purchase and sale. So this is the provisions applicable for them, where as we calculate the income from any sale of property, we are basically aware that it's a total sales consideration which we receive minus the cost of the flat or the commercial property is our gain on which we are required to pay the taxes. So here in calculation, we have the cost as the cost of construction, the labor cost, other material cost as well. But the main complexity arises here is the cost of sales, means, cost of sales not, the actual consideration which we receive. It is either the actual sales consideration which we receive in monetary terms, or it is the stamp duty value, that is the SDV, which is to be considered, which is set by the government and its departments, and it keeps on changing after a particular phases of time as the rates changes, and on various factors, there are various other factors on which it changes, but it means its determination is on sales stamp duty value and the actual monetary consideration which we receive. So the section clarifies that the consideration to be taken is higher of SDV or the sales consideration for the particular flat. But also there is a condition given that if the SDV is within 110% of the sales value, then the individual can claim the sales value for the same. For example, I am a dealer in buildings. I am selling a flat for 50 lakhs, and the SDV of that flat is actually 56 lakhs. So, and the cost of flat for me is 40 lakhs. So income for me by the direct calculation would be 50 minus 40 lakhs, 10 lakhs. But for income tax calculation, I need to take the SDV as it is more than 110% of my actual sales consideration. So that will be taken into consideration, and 56 minus 40, which comes out to be 16 lakhs, would be my income chargeable under PGBP. Also, and the important terms to note here would be the stamp duty value of the flat considered, the full consideration means full value of consideration which is taken, and it should be a stock in trade, not a capital asset. Now, moving on, the complexity comes actually while considering the stamp duty value. The stamp duty value can't be taken of any random date. There are mainly two dates for which the stamp duty value occurs. Whenever in case of a sale of property, there are two dates. First is the date of agreement, when the individuals officially enter into an agreement to sell the property, and further that all the processes are completed and the property is actually registered on the name of the buyer. So SDV is available with us for both the dates. So which SDV we need to consider? There also the Act has clarified that we can take the SDV on the date of agreement if and only if the two conditions are satisfied, which is the advance should be received for the property initially, and it should be through banking instruments. No cash advance received is allowed here. Also, the amount should be received before the date of agreement. Means if I am entering agreement today on 7th of July, I can't claim the advance which is received on the 8th of July. I need the advance on the date or before this date for claiming the SDV as on the date of agreement. If it is not, the default date would be the date of registration, which would be considered for SDV calculation. I hope this provision was a bit clear through my slides. For simplicity, I have given an example as well. If 10 million is the sales price and 11.2 is the SDV, SDV is greater of sales consideration, so SDV would be considered not the actual sales consideration. Irrespective to the date, whether it is of agreement or registration, as it is more, so it would be considered. Moving on to the next section or next provisions of the Income Tax Act for computation of business profits, which are the presumptive basis of income calculation. Presumptive basis means these are the provisions applicable for the assessees who are not maintaining proper books of accounts, who are not aware of their complete business activities and can't show their actual profits. So these are the provisions which are available where an assessee for a specific type of businesses, they can claim their presumptive profits on a certain basis. So I have taken this provision of for 44 AE, which grants the privilege to transportation business engaged activities. Means a person who is engaged in activities, just a minute. Yeah, so continuing with that, this presumptive basis of income are available for the individuals who are engaged in transportation business, means of plying and renting of uh, goods carriage vehicles. As we all are aware that these goods carriage vehicle businesses are not that much structured and the accounts are not that much maintained. So this provision grants privilege to them to simplify their tax calculations. So these provisions are for them, means an assessee who doesn't maintain a books of records or who maintains the books of records but his actual book profits are coming more. For example, I am having 10 trucks, and from those trucks in the complete year, I have earned 10 lakh rupees of rental revenue. My expenses for those, such as fuel expenses, labor charges, and all, are amounting to say 6 lakhs. So 4 lakh is my net profit. I can claim that profit, or if the presumptive basis income is coming 3 lakh, I would claim that income. Sure, there are some restrictions on switching within those, but I can claim such things. The condition is that a specific condition that the assessee shouldn't hold more than 10 trucks or carriage vehicles in a particular year. Things to note is that even a single day, if the assessee holds 11 vehicles or more than 10 vehicles, this provisions won't be applicable to him, and he have to maintain books of accounts, and he can't go through this presumptive income calculations. So let's look at the calculation, how it is to be done. The calculation of presumptive income is on the basis of the weight of the vehicles, means how much quantity can the vehicle actually hold. Its income is calculated on that basis. So it's mainly divided into two types: heavy vehicle category and other than heavy vehicle. Heavy vehicle categories are the vehicles which are having gross weight of the vehicle more than 12 tons. 12 tons vehicle are the heavy vehicles, and other than means small than these vehicles are other than heavy vehicles. So for calculation of heavy vehicles income, it is calculated as 1,000 rupees per ton for each vehicle held for every month during the previous year. Means if I am having one vehicle whose weight is say 15,000 kgs and I am holding it for the complete year, then my income would be as 1,000 rupees is per ton. I am having 15,000 tons vehicle. So it would be 15 into 1,000 into 12 months, as I am having one vehicle into one. So that would be the case. And for other than means large vehicles, there is no specification on the means weight of the particular vehicle. Standard 7,500 per month is considered for the vehicle, where if I am holding the vehicle for 1 month, I would be taxable with 7,500 income per truck. So this would be the condition, same as I said, the single day in a month would be considered for calculation. And also the date of ownership, means the date I acquired the carriage, would be taken for a calculation of the same, not the date of put to use. If I purchase the vehicle today and if I put to use the same on the next month, the July month would also be considered for the income calculation. Here I have illustrated the same through an example where a person is having 3 trucks, 13 kg weight for 5 months. Then his presumptive income under 44AE would be 5, which is the number of months for which we held, number of vehicles, which were 3, and amount per ton, that is 13,000 by 1,000, which comes out to be 13 into 1,000, which would be 1,95,000 would be his presumptive income. Similarly, for the individual who is having less than 12,000 weight trucks, the calculation I'm given, you can view just it for a few seconds to get clarity. Yeah, so we are done with PGBP. I think I was able to clear these provisions. And now moving on to house property income. House property income is the income which an individual receives from all the renting out of land and buildings which are available with him, which includes land and the building accompanying to the same. And the term building also includes residential, factory buildings, and all types of commercial buildings which the individual holds. And this should not be his business, means he is renting it as for gaining the rent only, not his business should not be of letting the houses and earning an income through it. Then only the income would be clubbed in house property income. Yeah, so the most complex provision which I think for under the house property income calculation was the carrying the interest on borrowing cost. But as I look at the timing consideration for the same, I was unwilling to take that. As it would require a humongous time. So I thought of taking a bit tricky provisions for the same. So the one of unrealized rent is I have taken for the same. Unrealized rent is a concept. For example, I have rented a property for 1 year. The tenant has paid the rent for 10 months, and he has ran off for the 2 months, and I'm not able to recover the rent for the last 2 months. So the 2 months rent would become unrealized rent for me, and the same would not be considered as rent received for me, as it wasn't received, and it would be unrealized rent for me. But the income tax provision claims that if subsequently, by any chance, I doubt that any time this provision would exist, means come in actual into practice, but if for subsequently, if I realize the rent from that owner, say I'm having a flat in ABC apartment for the previous year, I am having unrealized rent for 2 months, and I've realized it after 4 years. Even though then at that time I may not be the owner of the flat, still that income would be taxable for me for from house property, as the rent was unrealized for me and is received in the relevant previous year. So the same would be taxable for me. And all the standard deductions would be available for me, which is 30% on municipal taxes. If I have paid any, that the same would be available. Yeah, this comes out to be a bit tricky provision, which is the property deems to be let out, which is applicable for the individuals who are holding more than 2 house properties in any relevant previous year, and they are either occupied or non-occupied. That's not the case, but whenever an assessee holds more than 2 house properties, the same only up to two house properties the individual can claim as to be occupied, self-occupied, and the other as many as properties were there would be treated as a let out property, and the same would be considered for tax calculation. The assessee can use the combination of the same, and the calculation of each property would be done differently. For example, having 4 properties alongside in one apartment, the calculation of income through house property for each one would be done separately, and no combination of any interrelation would not be considered. Only at the end, the net income which is realized from those, it will be considered for calculation of total income, for which I can take any 2 of the same as occupied by myself, and the rest ones as let out. So only the final income would be clubbed for the same. Yeah, now moving towards the last but not the least source of income, which is income from other sources. I would say it is not the least income source, as many of us are earning income through these more than the other 5 sources. So this is the residual head, which includes all the other heads, means all incomes which do not find any place in other heads specifically are clubbed here and are included in this head. So I found a very important section 52, section 52 subsection 2 clause 8b, where the consideration received in excess of fair market value of shares issued by closely held company to be treated as income by a company when such shares are issued at premium. I guess nobody has understood it in the first glance, so we would go towards the examples for the same. Yeah, it says that if I'm a private limited company and I'm issuing my shares in the market, say for example, I am issuing the shares at 10 rupees face value, I'm issuing it at a 12 rupee price, but the fair market value of my shares is 15 rupees. The fair market value is calculated as per the market trends and the goodwill of the firm as well. So the excess of 3 rupees, which is the 15 minus 12, which is the issue price minus the actual fair market value, would be treated as income from other source for the private limited company. Means if any firm is trying to get lower subscription for the shares at lower price, but actual its price is more, the Income Tax Act is also looking into it and taxing the excess amount which is received by them, means to up till the limit of the fair market value of the shares. I have also quoted an example. For example, Atharva Foods Limited, private limited share has a face value of 10, whose FM and FMV is 11, and issues at 15. So means I am having fair value less, but I am issuing it at more. So the difference in the same would be taxed as income from other source for me. So here's a question for you guys. I hope the question is visible, and if anyone of you would like to answer the same, please, you can go ahead. Any answer, any means it's a small question, not a big to think a lot. Anyone? Yeah, please. Yeah, very good. What's your name? Okay. Yeah, it was a trap by me that it's Aditi Fashion Limited and not private limited, and these provisions is only applicable on private limited companies, not on public limited companies. So yeah, he raised the same, and these I specifically quote this example because this is specifically applicable to only private companies. No, means listed companies, even if they do such things, they won't be taxable under such. So your important thing also comes is it should be more than means issue should be at premium. No issue is if issue is done at discount, and even if it more than the fair market value, it won't be taxable here. The issue should be at premium. Yeah, this comes us to the last provision which I have here to discuss from income of the sources. That is the deemed dividend provision. Deemed dividend provision means, as dividend, we all are aware that the profits of the company are distributed to its shareholders through dividend, means final dividend and interim dividend. But such provisions of deemed dividend are introduced to tax the givings of the company to its shareholders, which are not in form of dividend but amounts to dividend. These provisions says that any payment by a company in form of loan or advance to a beneficial shareholder, it is deemed to be dividend for the individual to the extent of the accumulated profits of the company. Also, points to be noted here, this provision is also applicable to a private limited company, not public listed companies. And this provision says that whenever a private limited company is advancing a specific amount to a beneficial shareholder means who is having more than 10% shares in that private limited company, that would be treated as a deemed dividend for him, as to the extent of the accumulated profit. For example, if I am advancing a loan of 100 rupees and I am a private limited company and my accumulated reserves are amounting to 50. So the 50 rupees would amount to deemed dividend to him, but the remaining 50 would be treated as an advance or loan which is normally given. But the 50 rupees, which is my accumulated profits, would amount to deemed dividend for the individual. Yeah, I am given an example as well here that Omkar Private Limited advanced 40,000 to a beneficial shareholder Pranav, and the accumulated reserves are 35,000. So the deemed dividend for him would be 35,000 rupees. There are certain exceptions for these, certain exceptions for this transactional provision, that it is if the loan is granted in regular course of business. For example, if the beneficial shareholder is my regular supplier, I can advance him even more than means any substantial amount I can advance him, as he is my regular dealer. So if that is the case, then such would not be treated as a deemed dividend and would be exempted here. Also, if the setting off is done is through the subsequent dividend, means if the private limited company gives a subsequent dividend and that dividend is not given to that shareholder, then it will not be taxed here. Also, payment made by the private limited company for the buyback of the share would not be considered, as the securities are taken back by the company for the same. So, yeah, these were the provisions which I was here to discuss. And I will tell you the reason why I chose this topic, that simplification of intricacies. I'll tell you just, I have passed my inter almost 8-9 months back, means in May 22. And from that time, I have even not looked into income tax and those things as I'm doing my articleship in stat audit. So I thought this as an opportunity and a challenge for me to take direct tax as it's my non-core part subject which I'm doing, to take it and to myself learn itself first and then try to explain it to my friends who are, I know many of you are appearing for intermediate and who have someone have appeared and they are using these things in the office. I know that these provisions may not be regularly applicable, as these are very rare provisions and applicable for a specific transaction, but still I thought to explain it to you to understand in more detail the Income Tax Act, and I thought that this is the main core area which a CA focuses. और अदर ऑल रिलेटेड एरिया सच एज कंसल्टेंसी हो गया या कुछ और कोई भी चीज़ें हो गई उसमें सीए को वो नॉन कोर फील्ड्स है हमारी, हम उसमें भी काम करते हैं, बट हमारा जो कोर फील्ड्स है वो है हमारा इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स, डायरेक्ट टैक्स एंड ऑडिट. तो हम इसमें मतलब मेन हमारा लोग हमारे पास आते हैं ये चीज़ें समझने के लिए, एंड इट इज़ आर बेसिक ड्यूटी टू फर्स्टली अंडरस्टैंड दीज प्रोविजंस and simplify it and explain to the clients such that their taxability is at minimum level. So I thought it as my duty to explain it to you, and I think I was able to explain it to you in a better way. Thank you so much for being a great audience. Thank you. I would just like to add, if any questions anybody is having in these provisions, they can also ask. I will try my best to answer those. Anyone? Yeah. हाँ. हाँ. See, reserves for that calculation is, the reserves are not specifically defined in the Income Tax Act. It depends on the assessing officer that which reserve they are actually taking for the same. Yeah. Anything else?
I guess that's all.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Adamul. Now I request Mr. Mohammad Khalid Akiji to present his paper.
I understand सबको भूख लगी है. Last paper. Let's finish this session and then we can go for lunch. Kindly bear with us.
So, how many of you invest in stock market? Please raise your hand. Okay, nice, that's fine. Okay. Now next question. How many of you invest in cryptos? How many of you invest in cryptos? That's good. Quite a few. And now my next question is, how many of you actually earned profits out of it? Okay. So, so even if you do have earned profit, government is here. So even if you do have earned profits, government is here to eat up your share by 30%, or it may extend to almost 40 or 42% by giving regards to the surcharge and says that you may be levied. So, hello and a very good afternoon to all the dignitaries present over here, fellow paper presenters and my dear friends. So, I am Khalid Akhunji, CA finalist, all the way from Diamond City, Surat, and I am here to enunciate and present the topic of taxation of virtual digital asset. So, let's rewind and understand the journey of cryptocurrency a little bit. So, in 2009, the Japanese guy called Satoshi Nakamoto introduced this concept of cryptocurrency to the world. In 2013, RBI cautioned the citizens of India to refrain from these cryptocurrencies. What's up? Wow. So, in 2018, finally, government virtually banned the cryptocurrencies. So, now you may ask that what is this virtual ban? So, they directed the financial institutions to not to engage with the persons who are dealing in the cryptocurrency or any cryptocurrency related activities. So, now this might sound too bossy like this. So, finally in 2020, Supreme Court citing it as an unconstitutional and fundamental violation of fundamental right uplifted this ban, and this led to a surge in the cryptocurrency investment in India. So government has to come up with certain sections to regulate this kind of to regulate these cryptocurrencies. And hence, Wide Finance Act 2022, they introduced 115 BBH and 194S section. So as we know, nothing is certain except death and taxes. So I have been using this word crypto every time. But let me rephrase this. So the term used in income tax is virtual digital asset and not the crypto. So what is this VADA? I mean, not this VADA, this VADA, virtual digital asset VADA. So let's understand one by one. So firstly, we have this bitcoins. So what is this? Any information, code, token, whether obtained through cryptographic means or otherwise. Now focus on this word otherwise, I will come to this later. Providing digital representation of exchangeable value, and means it is representing you digitally. So if you have a coin, then you have it physically, but in this case, you have it virtually. So that's the case. Now next point, why we need to focus on this and why it is different from others. For that we have to understand these two things. Number one is stocks. So as the name suggests, stock market, each and every one of us invest in this. So stock has what we do is we earn returns in the form of dividend and capital appreciation, right? On the other hand, we have this traditional currencies like this note, right? We have this traditional currencies. Why we use it? So we use it as a medium to exchange, right? We purchase this each and everything. This is legal tender given by RBI. And कभी ऐसा सुना है कि 100 की नोट को रखी और 500 की हो गई? किसी ने सुना है ऐसा? So नहीं. So there is no capital appreciation to it. Now, so cryptos are the fusion of both of this. What I mean is cryptocurrency. So currency means it can be used as a medium to exchange. But in majority of the countries across the globe, governments do not consider it as a legal tender. It's primarily because because there is no central authority who is controlling. So like in India, there is RBI which is controlling this rupees note. But in case of Bitcoin, there is no one controlling it. And the second thing, so it is like a threat to their authority. So they don't want to be promoting it as a legal tender. Now, the second thing is we can use it as an investment instrument. Like we use it, share is also an investment instrument. So we can use the cryptos as an investment instrument. So that's where the real potential lies. So how much potential you may ask? So let me give you one example. But उससे पहले एक शायरी हो जाए. So नशा इसमें खूब है, नशा इसमें खूब है लेकिन नहीं है ये वाइन. नशा इसमें खूब है लेकिन नहीं है ये वाइन. कहता है ऐसी डिजिटल करेंसी, नाम है इसका बिटकॉइन. So, yeah, I was talking about Bitcoin. People often equate the term crypto with Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is different. So, this is the last 10 years chart for the Bitcoin. And once in 2016, one Bitcoin was reached for rupees 46 lakh rupees. Now, mind you, before 2009, something like Bitcoin was not even in the existence. So, something which was made out of nothing was reached 46 lakh rupees for just one Bitcoin. And as on the date I am speaking, it is traded at around 24 lakh rupees. So experiencing over more than 50% decline in this value. So we can say that this has led few people a crorepati, but many roadpati. What's happening? Many people are roadpati. So now, second part of this definition, NFTs, non-fungible token. So what is NFTs? So if I were to explain you simply, so NFTs are, for example, if you see anything over the internet, so you own nothing. But what if you want to own anything, right? So here comes the concept of NFT into play, and this allows you to own anything over the internet. So let me give you an example. So do you know this guy? So he is Jack Dorsey, founder of Twitter, actual founder. So this is his first tweet, world's first tweet, just setting up the Twitter. And recently in 2021, he sold his tweet. NFTs, we can sell it. So he sold his tweet. Any guesses for how much? Abhi just dikha diya. So he sold it for almost 3 million just for this tweet. जो भी हो जिसने खरीदा हो, but he sold it for 3 million. It's almost more than 23 crore rupees. So that's the power of NFTs. And okay, so this was the definition, but there are certain exceptions also given. So let's discuss one by one. So NFTs where underlying asset is any tangible asset. For example, I have this image of home and I turn it into NFTs and I sell it to some guy. Now, underlying asset here is my actual house. So if I am selling my NFT, in essence, actually my house is something which is getting transferred. So in this kind of transactions, normal capital gain transaction, normal capital gain would apply and not this specific section. Okay. Few other exceptions are like gift cards, vouchers, to obtain goods from future goods or service. So if you pay on Google Pay, you get a scratch cards, right? So it is providing a digital representation of value. It is digitally representing value. So remember, in first point I emphasized on the word otherwise. So this is exception to that as otherwise. Okay. There are few more exceptions. Reward points like what we get on payment of credit cards and all this, and subscription to any website and all this are also not part of virtual digital asset. So appetizer is done. Now let's focus on main course, which is, so this was the entire definition. Okay, let's focus on main course, which is 115 BBH. So this is special section which was introduced by Wide Finance Act 2022. So it provides a 30% flat tax plus surcharge plus cess. So irrespective of your profit, you are supposed to pay 30% tax on it, irrespective of the fact. Now, okay, under which head it should be taxed? So confusion would be like, should this be taxed under capital gain head or PGBP head or what? So there is no clarification given in this section itself. But if giving regards to the frequency and nature of the transaction, you may consider it under the capital gain head, or if the transactions are more, so you may convert it into the PGBP. But there is one clarification which is clearly given. If you, so there will be no indexation in case of if you are if you are classifying it under the capital gain head. Okay. Now my next question: LTCG में जाएगा या STCG जाएगा? Any answer? LTCG मतलब लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल गेन मानेंगे या शॉर्ट टर्म कैपिटल गेन मानेंगे? उसकी क्या डेफिनेशन रहेगी? So let me tell you, ऐसा कुछ करने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है, because the purpose of classifying under long term or short term is simply because long term के लिए अलग रेट से short term के लिए अलग रेट है, but यहाँ तो सीधा दे दिया है, right? So there is no need for such classification. Now, my next question, okay. Now next point is regarding set off and carry forward. So in case of if you want to set off this, so there will be, you cannot set off against any other income. And now the most important part is carry forward. And you cannot carry forward the losses or you have derived from the virtual digital asset in the next assessment years. Now this is the most crucial point, because if you see any section over the Income Tax Act, if no set off, then at least carry forward subject to certain restriction is always allowed. But in this case, set off is also not allowed and carry forward is also not allowed. So we can say that this is like nationalization of profit but privatization of loss, right? Now, to keep an eye on this entire provisions and to ensure that no revenue leakage is there, they have introduced TDS section of 194S. So the rate is 1%. And there are two threshold limits provided. So let's discuss one by one. Number one is 50,000 rupees. So here two class of person will be covered under 50,000 threshold limit. So first one being individuals and HUF having no business or profession, like they are salaried individuals or income from other source. This will be covered under this 50,000 threshold limit. And the second being individuals and HUF having PGBP income, but turnover is less than 1 crore or 50 lakh. Turnover is less than 1 crore or 50 lakh, respectively. So these people will be classified under first threshold of 50,000. And next threshold is 10,000. Any person not covered above will be covered here. So if you see, if you observe closely, the first limit is similar to section 194M, if you could relate to it. Okay. Now, next point is, let's discuss few important points. So no TAN is required. So there is section 203A, which mandates if any person is liable to deduct TDS, then he is supposed to have a TAN number. But in this case, this is relaxed. And the second point is 206AB. This is important because 206AB states that if any person who has not filed ROI, then he will be liable to be deducted at TDS will be at a higher rate. But this is relaxed in this case. Next point is 194O, and what if both the section 194O and 194S is applicable? So let's discuss this. So for example, you bought an NFT and you paid it through PayPal's payment gateway. Now in this case, what's happening? PayPal is a payment gateway. So payment gateway is e-commerce operator, and 194O is also applicable. you are also purchasing an NFT. So this is also covered under 194S. So both the sections are attracted. So which should be given regards. So 194S should prevail and not the 194O. अब काटेगा कौन? मतलब tax. So generally, two people are in the transaction. One is buyer, one is seller, right? The one who is paying will deduct TDS, as simple as that. But in this case, there are 4 type of people involved in this transaction. Number 1 is buyer, number 2 is seller, number 3 is exchanges. Like we have NSCs and BSCs in the stock market. So for the cryptos, we have like Binance. So, and the 4th number being broker. So in this case of stock market, we have Zerodha and all this. But in the case of 194S, we have Coinbase, etc., etc. So what to do? Who will deduct the TDS? So this is a table which provides all the possible scenarios, and there is an answer that who will deduct TDS. So if I were to put it simply, if you are buyer and there are only 2 parties, buyer and seller, buyer will deduct TDS. If there is stock or crypto exchange or broker is involved, they will deduct TDS, as simple as that. Let's move on to next. What is this? Now, let me, this represents a complex scenario. Let me break down it for you guys. So for example, I have Bitcoin, you have Dogecoin. Now I want Dogecoin, you want Bitcoin. Okay? So, अब ऐसा कर सकते हैं क्या? Can we exchange it? Remember I told you, you can use it as a medium to exchange. So we can absolutely do this. Now, the problem here in this transaction is no one is paying in the Indian currency. For deduction of TDS, we need Indian currency. But no one is here having Indian currency. So what to do? And on top of it, these transactions are generally executed via crypto exchanges like Binance in this case. So what to do? So the simple clarification given over here is, okay, so what's happening here is I am selling my Bitcoin and purchasing the Dogecoin. On the other hand, the other party is selling his Dogecoin and purchasing the Bitcoin. So in this case, both the persons are selling and buying. So here 2 transactions are happening and both the transactions should be, so the question is, should both the transactions be covered under TDS or ek kar do chalega, kya karna chahiye? Okay, so the clarification given over here is both the legs of transaction, in both the legs of transaction, TDS should be deducted by the crypto exchange itself, and they will convert it into the Indian currency and they will deposit it to the government. So that was the section 194S. Now, as we draw to close, the cryptocurrency, wait. So now as we draw to close, the cryptocurrency related stuff needs a comprehensive approach that can encourage this innovative technology, as well as effectively, you can say, effectively address the potential threats that this might have. So this should be done by government, and so that was the entire section 194S and 115 BBH. So thank you for considering this. Thank you.
थैंक यू सो मच. भूख लगी है क्या? जाना ही है क्या? 10 मिनट और एक और प्रेजेंटेशन कर ही लेते हैं. ठीक है. Let's end this session. I request our session chairman to kindly come on the dais. Last 5 minutes, let's present the mementos and then we can go for lunch. I request our session chairman to present participating mementos to our participants. Participants kindly come on the dais.
Requesting Yash sir to say a few words of encouragement.
गुड आफ्टरनून एवरीवन. ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं लूँगा, सबको भूख लगी पता है, बट इंडीड अ वेरी गुड सेशन बाय ऑल द 3 प्रेजेंटर्स. सबको नॉलेज तो मिला रहेगा बिकॉज नए नए सेक्शंस थे. ये वर्चुअल डिजिटल एसेट जो है लास्ट फाइनेंस एक्ट में इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ है. देर वी विल फाइंड मेनी ऑफ द क्लाइंट्स हु हैज़ द ट्रांजैक्शंस फॉर द वर्चुअल डिजिटल एसेट्स. सो फॉर हाउ टू टैक्स द सेम, इट शुड बी फ्रॉम योर साइड. यू शुड सजेस्ट योर प्रिंसिपल्स कि बाबा अगर उनको मालूम नहीं होगा कि सर ये केस में ऐसा टैक्स कर सकते हैं एंड हाउ वी कैन सेव ऑन द टैक्सेस. You can help them how we can manage the taxes for the client, minimizing the tax liability. Indeed, a very good sessions by all the 3 presenters. और भी expected थे कि you should participate to build up your stage confidence, stage fear जो लोगों के दिमाग में होता है, वो निकलने के लिए यही मौका मिलता है. ऐसे ही सेशंस होते हैं, कॉन्फ्रेंस होते हैं जहाँ पे आप आके पार्टिसिपेट करो और वो पार्टिसिपेशन से कहीं ना कहीं यू विल इवॉल्व योर सेल्फ ओनली. आप पढ़ोगे उसके रिगार्ड्स में, यू विल गेट अ नॉलेज फॉर दैट. नॉलेज कभी वेस्ट नहीं होता है. The more you will learn, the more you will study, it will be benefited for your own benefit. It will benefit your own study बोलो, आपके एग्जाम प्रिपरेशन के लिए बोलो, आर्टिकलशिप के लिए बोलो, सब चीज़ों के लिए आपको खुद का ही फायदा होने वाला है. सो द मोर नेक्स्ट टाइम आई वुड लाइक टू सी मोर पार्टिसिपेंट्स पार्टिसिपेटिंग. कहीं ना कहीं कॉम्पिटिशन दिखना चाहिए. 3 लोगों में क्या फर्स्ट सेकेंड थर्ड प्राइज हो जाएगा. देयर विल बी नो कंसोलेशन प्राइजेस फॉर दैट. ठीक है, चलो, थैंक यू.
Thank you so much, sir. And guys, now we will have a lunch break. But before that, I just wanted to say कि इतना देर आपको इंतज़ार करा है. So उसके पीछे भी एक अच्छा रीज़न है कि लंच के बाद JBL जो हमारे स्पॉन्सर्स है वो उनके हेड आने वाले मुंबई से. देन लकी ड्रॉ होगा और आपको कूपन्स भी दिए जाएंगे. सो लंच के बाद आप प्लीज़ घर मत जाइएगा, आइएगा. लकी ड्रॉ होगा, बी प्रेजेंट. जो प्रेजेंट है उन्हें ही मिलेगा. एंड वी विल हैव अ लंच ब्रेक ऑफ 40 minutes. थैंक यू.